Hello and welcome to episode 7 of the Celtic Caststone podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada. It's been trying to snow. Other parts of the province have been getting lots of snow, but it seems to miss us every time. So we're expecting, it's looking like there are going to be about 3 storms coming up. Whether they change between now and then is hard to say. Sometimes it says that we're going to have a storm, then it completely goes off the radar. Sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a storm on Monday. Today is Friday. I think it's the 9th of December. And yeah, hopefully we'll have snow soon. It's getting very cold out. It's getting that bitter cold, especially when I go down to the bus stop to pick up my daughter. My fingertips are getting very chilly. So snow for sure sometime soon. It'd be nice to go outside and play again. I find in the wintertime when there is no snow, the kids don't want to go outside because it's cold, but there's also nothing to do because everything's frozen. So we enjoy the snow. So yes, my name is Kelly, and I am Celtic Cast On everywhere. Instagram, Ravelry are the 2 that I use the most, but that's where you can find me. And I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. I must say I did a little happy dance every time my phone pinged that I got a new subscriber. So thank you to each and every one of you who subscribed. You made my day quite a few days in a row. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. It's good to have you back. I enjoyed all of the feedback that I got from the last podcast immensely. So I think I'm going to be implementing a couple of new things into the rotation, which I'm excited about. So definitely, if you have any questions, if you're watching a podcast, you have questions, or you see something or think of something that you'd like to have in the podcast, send me a message and I will definitely see what I can do, and I'll answer any of the questions that I get as well. I have a questions thread in the Celtic Cast On Ravelry group, so if you would like to join that and maybe ask your question there, that's a good way to get an answer as well. So I thought I would do a little Festiveness today. This is my beautiful fireplace. This room, before we moved in, was very 80s. It had pink carpet. The walls were like that country blue color. It just was very dated. And so I found this on Pinterest and I said to Moose, my husband, I said, can you make me a fireplace? Because I've always wanted a fireplace. We've always had a wood stove, but we haven't really had a fireplace, and I wanted a mantle to dress up. So he made this for me. And it took a while. We had all of the framework in, but took a while for me to find the tile that I liked for here, and I actually found it at a restore at an awesome price. It was a brand new box. I actually got 2 brand new boxes from the restore for half off, basically. So I have some of the tile left if I decide to use it on anything else, but I love it, and I'm excited that I can have my stockings hung and everything this year. I need to get some lettering done on my banner, but I don't have that finished yet. So anyway, that's my Festiveness. So should we jump right in? I think so. I don't think I have anything else to talk about. All right, let's go. How about we talk about some FOs? All right, the first FO that I have, if you haven't already noticed, is my Mazzy cardigan. It is by Elizabeth Smith of the Brown Stitch, and I knit it in, sorry, my nose is super itchy today. I knit it in O Wool Local in the Fringe Tree colorway. And this is a 50% alpaca, 50% organic merino, and the pattern called for ultra alpaca, which is a 50% merino, 50% alpaca. So it was the perfect sub of a yarn to use. That actually is something that you really want to look at carefully. If you are planning to sub a yarn in, you want to make sure. With this cardigan, it kind of needed drape. I'll just show you. It's a longer cardigan, but if you had knit this in a just 100% merino, it would have been a lot stiffer than this. It wouldn't have that drapiness. So when you're subbing a yarn, absolutely make sure that you want to have the same yarn properties in your yarn that the person used for their sample, basically. If you want it to look the same. If you want it to be stiffer, then that's your choice and you can definitely go that route. But if you want it to be a little more drapey and a little more flowy, then you definitely need to pay attention to what they used for their yarn. Something I have learned from all my sweater knitting. So yes, this is the finished Mazzy. I'm super pumped about it. The only thing that I modified was I added a little bit of length to the sleeve, of course, because I have super long arms, and I like to have them go over my thumb. I find that if I have a sleeve just to my cuff, I'm constantly pulling it down. So this was the perfect length for me. And then I just lengthened the body just a tad as well, just because I am long in the body. So it's got these cute little pockets on either side. They're not very deep, but they're cute. And then up the side, you've got this panel of little cable stitches and then just plain rib rows. So I'm very happy with it. The only thing that I did, other than these mods, when I was seaming up the pocket, it was almost like the pocket, the inside was too long. What happens is you knit it bottom up. So you knit the bottom of the pocket first. Or no, the pockets were knit separately. The inside of the pocket was knit separately and then you attach it on. But what I found was whenever I went to attach my pocket on, show the inside, my pocket actually came right down to the bottom of the ribbing. And if I didn't put it down to the ribbing, I had these little tug marks here where it joins on, and I did not like that. And a lot of people probably would have said, oh, don't worry about it. No one else will see it, but I will see it. And I've got to the part now in my sweater knitting where if it's not the best that I can do, then I always notice it and I'm not as happy with the sweater. So I definitely knew that I wanted to make it right. So what I did, because these are knit and then attached on, I had, basically you have this flap hanging here that's waiting to be sewn on. So what I did, because this was my cast on edge, it was kind of a little fiddly whenever I tried to unpick it. So I cut it and unraveled it back a little bit, picked up stitches a few rows back and started another cast off row. So basically I shortened it up about an 1.5 to 2 inches. And then I cast it off again, and then it brought it down to where it should be at the bottom of the ribbing. And then I just sewed it on. So now I don't see those tug marks anymore, which is fabulous. And actually before I did rip back a little bit, I attached it onto the bottom of the ribbing, but then it made the ribbing poke out a little bit too. So I wasn't having that. So it was 3rd time's the charm. And I finally got it right, and they finally are the perfect little pockets. So that's my Mazzy cardigan. I'm super excited about it. It's super warm and cozy. I do have a long sleeve shirt on with it today. As soon as I finished it, I popped it on, and I had a tank top on, and I did find it a little bit scratchy when I first put it on. But then after I wore it around for a while, it didn't bother me. So I'm wondering, I didn't have it blocked at the time, and I'm wondering now maybe if it will be fine if I just wear a short sleeved shirt underneath of it. But the thing is, it's getting kind of cold out, and I normally do wear long sleeves in the winter. So we may not see until spring what it's like. But I think I'm going to wear this to death. It will go with everything, and I'm super pumped about it. So that's my first FO. What else do I have? I have another FO. This one you haven't actually seen at all. It's something that I whipped up very quickly for my daughter. This is the Zell pullover, and it is by the Velvet Acorn on Ravelry. And if you look if you don't know the name Velvet Acorn, once you see the pictures of the little girl in all the designs, you will absolutely know who I'm talking about. It's a little girl, and she's got this bleached blonde hair, and it's long and it's curly, and she's got this gorgeous little face, perfect little nose, and she just wears everything so perfectly. So this is the Azelle pullover that I made. And I haven't been knitting my daughter anything because she complains that everything's scratchy and itchy. But when I saw this, I thought she would look super cute in it. And it was made of 100% acrylic. So I could be on board with that. A, I'm not spending a lot of money on it in case she doesn't decide that she's not going to wear it. And two, it's acrylic, so it won't be scratchy on her. So this is knit. Let me just get my little tag. I think I saved it in here. You watch, it will be somewhere else now. Yep, it's not there. It's made in Bernat Softy Chunky. I'm sure I'll find a tag of it somewhere because I had, there it is. Bernat Softy Chunky. And I did it in the color Gray Heather. So this is a bulky weight yarn. And this is what it looks like. So it's got a big turtleneck collar. And then it's basically like a big rectangle with buttons down the sides. So when she puts her arms down, it looks like it's a big poncho type thing. I'll insert pictures, it looks much better than it does holding it up like this. But she's very happy with it. I wasn't sure that she would like the turtleneck collar because she gets hot quite a lot. But she seems to like it so far, and she's been sitting on the couch knitting, wearing it. So I'm happy, she's happy. I originally was going to knit one of these for each of my nieces for Christmas. That's a lot of knitting. I ended up having to knit, my daughter's 7, but I had to knit her I don't know if it's 8 to 10 or 9 to 10. I think it'd be 9 to 10 because she's so tall, and it definitely took that for her. I added these cute little buttons for my stash. I let her pick buttons from the stash so that she wouldn't complain that they weren't the right buttons. She picked these little butterfly ones, which are really cute. I got these off of Etsy years ago, and they were so cheap that I got a bunch of different ones. I have ones that look like almost like a potato chip with the ridges in them, but she liked the butterflies, of course. So I think I only have 1 or 2 of these butterfly buttons left since I needed 8 for this. But very cute. I must say the yarn, being acrylic, is super soft. It's not that squeaky acrylic that everybody thinks of when they think acrylic. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. I decided not to knit anymore for Christmas because this was big enough. And I just didn't think I was going to get 3 more finished in time for Christmas. And I also wasn't sure if they would wear them either. So my daughter is the lucky recipient, and I'll insert some pictures so you can see what it looks like on. So most of you enjoyed the sweater talk from last episode. So I thought I would make that a new segment, sweater talk, because basically I could talk about sweaters all day, every day. So if you have any questions about sweaters or anything you want me to cover on the podcast, let me know, because I will definitely add it into this section. But for right now, I thought I would take you on a little guide of how I do my blocking. Since I had to block Mazzy anyway, I figured it was the perfect time to do it. So I made a little video, and I'm going to insert it here, and you can take a look and see how I do my blocking. So since I just finished my newest sweater, the Mazzy cardigan by Elizabeth Smith of the Brown Stitch, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to give you a little glimpse on how I do my blocking. Now, blocking was a thing that I wasn't really sure how to do, or if I was even doing it correctly when I first started making lots of garments. So hopefully this will help some of you that maybe are just starting out, or maybe you've been doing it for a while and you didn't really know what to do or what was the best way to do it. So this is how I do it, take it or leave it. And here we go. So this is the Mazzy cardigan that I just finished. All the ends are woven in, it's all ready to be blocked. So the first thing I do is gather what I need. Most importantly, you're going to need your schematic, which is from your pattern. This is the schematic from my pattern. So it's basically just a picture, and it shows you the measurements of what the finished garment should be. You're going to want that for sure, because if you do soak your garment and it grows a lot, you want to be able to block it to the right measurement and not over block it, and then it will end up being too big for you. So where I do have the schematic that I'm going to check my numbers on, I do actually like how the cardigan fits as is before it's blocked right now. So what I'm going to do before I even look at my schematic is I'm going to jot down, take some measurements just with a ruler. Just follow the measurements on the schematic, and I'm going to take a ruler and measure how it is right now against what it's supposed to be. And I'm going to basically go with the numbers of what it is right now from when I take it out of the water to block it, because that's how I like the fit to be, and I don't really want to change it that much. I just want to make all the stitches nice and even. So other than your schematic, your garment, you'll also need some wool wash, which is the one that I use is Soak, and you'll need tons and tons and tons of pins. I have heard great things about the Knitter's Pride knit blockers, which are like a little rectangle that have lots of little pins in a row, and you're able to just use them almost like little combs to put out, but I don't have any, so I'm using pins. And you will need something to block it on. Now, a lot of people use carpeted floor to block on. Some people use the interconnected foam tiles for the floor. I used to use those. Now, I used to end up having to lay them across the table because I didn't want the dog stepping on them or my daughter getting into it. So my husband got really sick and tired of seeing the tiles everywhere, so he actually made me a blocking board. So I wanted to show you my blocking board because it's pretty cool, and maybe your husband can make you one too. So this is, you can see right behind the wood here, it's actually pink. This is rigid foam insulation that we use over here in Canada to insulate houses. So this would be what goes on the side of your house. So my husband does construction on the side, so this was readily available to me. You can get it at any hardware store. And he added this piece of wood because the house that we were in before we came here was an open concept, and so he put some hooks in the ceiling. If I can get this in here. Yeah, you can see the little eyelet there on the corner. And so I just used to be able to hang it up from the ceiling as it was drying, and all the water would drip down onto our tile floor, which I had covered with towels. And so it was out of the way while it was drying. It wasn't on the table, it wasn't on the floor, and it was just a great way to block my knits. Now you'll notice that it's actually painted. We painted our living room, and my mom one day while she came over while I was out, and she actually painted the board so it wasn't this big pink board hanging from the ceiling. So that's why it's the color it is. But I've had this for years and it never wears out. There's lots of pinholes in it, and that's what it's used for, and I think it's great. So let's go to the sink, and then I will show you how I use my blocking board once we get the sweater wet. So Soak is the wool wash that I use. It's the one that is widely available. Well, not widely available, but it's available where I live. I get this from Sears. You can order it online from their website, or you can sometimes get it in the store in the lingerie department is where they usually sell it. The bigger bottles, though, I have had to get online on their website, sears.ca, and there's also a sears.com in the States. Sears is just a department store that we have here. So that's where I can get it most readily. So this one is actually done. This is their older bottle, and it seems that they're going down a bit in size. This was 14 ounce and now it's down to 12 ounce. I think they're still the same price. So get your soak, and I will take you to the sink. So here we are at the sink, and I am ready to put the wool wash in. So I just want to show you how we do it, and let's get started. So this is my soak, and you don't need a lot of this. You only need a few drops. I'm going to use, I tend to go more on the colder side for water than warmer side, just because I don't want to accidentally felt anything. So I'm just going to put the warm on just a little bit, and then more cold, and literally 1-2 squeezes, that's all you need. So we're just going to fill the sink up a little bit, and then I'm just going to soak my sweater. And just with very little agitation, you just want to gently press down on your sweater. I like to do this as the sink is filling up, because if you do it after the sink is filled up, sometimes you get overflow. So just press the sweater down so that it becomes nice and soaked. Make sure you get it all soaked, because sometimes when you fold your sweater over, it doesn't let that side of it get soaked right through. You just want to make sure it's soaked right through. So I just have enough water in the sink to basically cover the sweater. So I'm just making sure it's all pushed down. I'll give you a little glimpse. So there it is. And I'll leave that in there for probably about 30 minutes, and then I'll take it out and we'll start blocking. So it's been a little over 30 minutes since I've had the sweater in the sink, so I'm just going to drain the water and gently squeeze it out. Now I'm not going to wring it too much. I just want to squeeze all the water right out. And just go from one side of the cardigan to the other. Woo! Lots of water in the bottom. So once you've got it all squeezed out, we are going to take this to the blocking board. So now that we're back downstairs, I just have a regular towel and I lay my sweater out on the towel, and what I'm going to do is just roll the sweater and the towel together, just kind of like a log. And as I'm rolling, I'm just squeezing the sweater just to get any of that excess water out. So I just roll it all the way up. You can feel the towel is quite damp already from just doing this. And once you've got it all rolled up, just unroll it, and we're ready for blocking. So now that we have the sweater laid out on the blocking board, we're just going to use our ruler and check for measurements before we start pinning. So now that I have my sweater pinned, you can see that I had quite a few pins up the front. Normally I wouldn't put that many in, but where there are cables and then some purling stitches before the edge stitch, I wanted to make sure it wasn't just going to curl. So I put a lot of pins down that front point just to make sure that it's going to stay in its spot. I did pin it all out, and again, I do use quite a few pins because most of the time I do end up having to flip my board upright or hang it from somewhere. So I want to make sure that it's going to stay put and not part of it flop over in the process. So now we just leave it to dry and we let it dry on its own. And when it's done, we take it off. One thing I will say, in the past, I have let sweaters sit on the board and long after they were dry, but it did cause a crease down the sides. The crease does go away eventually, but to avoid that, just take it off as soon as it is dry, and then you're good to go. Welcome back. So I hope you enjoyed that little video of my blocking. I know that it was something that I struggled to figure out. I didn't really find whenever I started knitting garments that there was a lot of information on how to block, and specifically watching anyone do the blocking. So that's how I do it, and that's what I've kind of gathered over the years. So I hope it's informative to you and maybe help some of you out if you're kind of wondering what to do and how to do it. So let's move on to whips. I'm excited about this one. I just finished Mazzy and the sweater bug is hitting me hard right now. I want to knit all the colorwork sweaters there are. So I had to look through my stash and I had to look through my library on Ravelry. So patterns I already had, because I'm kind of wanting to use what I have and not purchase any more, because I really have enough patterns and have enough yarn that I can definitely knit through some sweaters. So I've had the pattern, and I don't have a picture of it, but I will insert one here. I've had the pattern Sun Daughter for quite some time. Now it's a Brooklyn tweed pattern. Actually, sorry, I think it's a Woolfolk pattern. So it's by Diana Walla. She is Cake and Vikings on Instagram, I do believe. Yes, and it was in Wool People Volume 6. So it's been a while that I've wanted to knit this. So I started it in Classic Elite Sky Tweed. This was actually my very first sweater quantity of yarn that I ever purchased. It was, oh my goodness, I'm thinking 2006, 7 maybe. I know that Webs was having a sale. It's when they used to have those really awesome blowout sales all the time, and it was really great yarn too, and everyone kind of snapped it up, and I decided I was going to purchase my very first sweater quantity. I had seen this yarn knit in other things, and I knew I'm kind of into tweedy yarn. I knew this was going to be perfect. So I ordered 10 balls of this, and it worked out to be about almost 1,200 yards, which for me then was perfect. Had I have known better, I would have ordered more. I do wear things more loose than I did before. I guess I've grown as a sweater knitter and realized that I don't need everything to be humming tight. That a little bit of ease is a good thing. So I did start this sweater way back when I had started my very first cardigan, the Central Park hoodie. Most of you who have been knitting for a while will know that cardigan and know what I'm talking about. So I started the cardigan, and it has cables right up the sides, and it had a big hood, and it just wasn't big enough. I didn't have enough yarn. It was turning out too small, so I frogged it. Then a couple of years later, I saw another cardigan that I liked, and it had penny cables all up the back. So it was this big panel of penny cables, and then it had penny cables down here and a shawl collar. Well, cables eat up yarn, and so do shawl collars. And I finished it and I got to the shawl collar and it just didn't have enough yarn to make it big enough. And it always bothered me because it always kind of sat up in an awkward way and I was kind of always tugging at it. And with this yarn, it's quite stiff. And when you add stiff yarn into cables, it makes it super stiff, and it kind of like sat on its own and didn't really have any movement to it. So I searched and I put out like a call on one of the Ravelry groups to see if anyone had any more of the yarn. Couldn't find any anywhere. So I wore it for a while, a couple of times. The neck still bothered me, and so I just decided, frog it. So I frogged it, and I think I frogged it 2 years ago, and it has sat in a bag waiting for me to knit this sweater. So when I saw the pattern when I was going through my library, I thought, that is it. I'm knitting that sweater. It's got a color work yoke, and I'm super pumped. So I started it, and I was rather addicted. It actually starts with the sleeves, which I think is an amazing idea. Start with the sleeves. You don't get second sleeve syndrome. You don't get bored that you have to knit 2 sleeves because it's bottom up and you do the bottom and then join the sleeves on before you do the yoke. This to me is just an amazing idea. I think I will be knitting all of my sweaters starting with the sleeves from now on. Another thing that's great about it is you're so excited to start a new sweater and you start knitting sleeves and you're still excited about it by the time you get to the second sleeve. And when you get to the second sleeve and you're starting it off, you're like, I'm almost to the body. I'm just going to keep on knitting. And it pushes you through the knit. It doesn't drag on and feel like, oh, this is never going to end. This is a thing. So start with the sleeves. Try it out. I definitely recommend it. So I knit 2 sleeves in no time flat, literally. I took these with me everywhere, and where it was just plain knitting, I got it done in no time. So I have 2 sleeves, and I want to show you this yarn. It's coming out a bit brighter than it is in real life. I wonder if that's it right there. So it's kind of like a rusty orange, and it's got little flecks of tweed in it. It's very cute. So I think this pattern is going to be a perfect match for this yarn because where I said it does get very stiff, I think that the just stockinette stitch is going to be perfect for it. So I have 2 sleeves knit, and then I cast on for the body. This is all I have. I wanted to at least cast it on so that it wasn't just sitting there glaring at me. But I do have another project that I'm working on before I can get back to this. And it's killing me, but it's also powering me through the project that I have to finish because I really want to knit this. And by the time I finish, it will probably be around Christmas break, so I can get my mojo going on this and have a finished sweater for hopefully the new year. So that's my current whip. And I do have another one. In the last episode, Sarah gifted me yarn. It was the Arnie and Carlos, and it was the one that kind of looked like a Christmas colorway. And you know what? I don't even know. Oh, I do have the... So it's the Arnie and Carlos Regia 4-ply. The color is 246. So this is the Arnie that we were buying in the yarn sale. But it's very Christmas colors. I'm kind of having a little bit of yarn barf here, but I'm really liking how it's working up. So I'm all the way to the toe of my first sock. The black that I'm using for the cuffs, toes, and heels is just Croy, Patton's Croy. But isn't that pretty? I love how there's gray and black in it. It makes it a little less Christmassy and a little more, I'll be able to wear it all year round. But I thought they were really cute. So I'm just doing my regular vanilla sock. This is 64 stitches because I have a high arch and I find that the stitches tend to pull right where my decreases are. I get this little ridge along one stitch and it kind of pulls all these little holes all the way down. So I ended up going with 64 stitches, and that's the ticket. It doesn't make them pull anymore, just because I have a high arch. I can't do afterthought heels because I have a very skinny heel. It kind of tapers like this at the back. So that doesn't work for me. It actually, when I put my foot in a shoe or a boot, my heel slips right up over top of my heel. So heel flaps it is. It's the best fit for me. So there we have it. I'm using my Carbons DPNs 2.25, the only sock needles that I use and like and love. So hopefully I'll be able to get the toe on that soon after I finish this other project that I've been working on. Oh, I should add, I've been using a sock ruler. I got this in the summertime. I'm just gonna get a drink, my throat's kind of dry. So I bought this in the summertime, and I just haven't used it yet. So I have been trying it out on my new sock. So basically you put it in your sock, and it will tell you, it basically takes the guesswork out of how long you have to knit your sock or your leg. So it has inches on one side and centimeters on the other side. Now, the reason I bought this is because I always have issues with my toes, and I always stop and I think it's going to be long enough, and then I get to the end and I just need that little bit more, so I end up having to rip back the toe and re-knitting it again. So this is going to tell me, I'm going to figure out where I need to stop for my toe, and I'm going to mark it right on here, toe, this is where you stop, and I'm going to have a perfect toe. I was thinking about actually also trying a rounded toe for a change. I do have, I don't know, I have issues with the point. There are some people have kind of a rounded shape, but my toe, well, maybe I can show you with my sock. Just don't look at the dog hair. You can see my toe kind of does like a little step ladder, like going up steps to the top. Which is okay for this style of toe, but I always find there's this little part right here that isn't in my toe, and I wondered if a rounded toe would give me more of a wiggle room. Sometimes I find that the top of my toe kind of is always poking out at the top, and I don't know, I'm gonna try a rounded toe. I don't know if you can see these. These are my Koopy Mystery socks. Yeah, I don't think you can see them. They're very pretty. Let me see. There you go. Koopy Mystery socks from a few years ago. I really like them. And I really love her patterns. I think I'm going to be knitting some more of her patterns in the new year, because they fit so well and they're pretty to look at. All right, so those are my whips for right now. And one I can't show you. So next I want to introduce another new segment, Kids Crafts. My daughter has taken a very big interest in knitting lately. She has in the past picked up knit a few rows here and there, and then that was kind of it. But she has decided on a project, knit it through and finished it, and is on to another project. So it makes me very excited about the prospects that she actually has become a knitter. And I want her to share her projects with you. So let's go take a look and see what she's been working on. So this is T, and she's here to show you some of the things she's been working on. So would you like to show them your first FO, finished object?
Yes.
So this is, what yarn do we use for this?
What?
What yarn do we use for it?
I don't know what it's called.
What was it from? It was leftover yarn from...
I don't know what that's called either.
It was leftover yarn from her Azelle pullover that I made for her that I showed you earlier. And so this is what she made, and who's it for?
My teacher.
So she decided, what did you decide you're going to make?
A grog and a cup cozy.
Okay, so this is the mug rug portion. So it's in Bernat Softy Chunky. And did you like using the big needles and the big yarn?
Yeah, but I like the little ones better.
You like the little ones better, but I think you found the big needles easier to work with, didn't you?
No.
No? You didn't find... I found that when she was knitting that the chunky yarn, that she was able to do everything by herself very easily, whereas before she had tried to knit her brother mittens using fingering weight yarn, and she was having a hard time doing the loop over and picking the stitches. So
Hey, that was only my second object. You.
it was, yep. But this worked out really well, and so she's excited to give this to her teacher. So that's part one of your teacher's gift. What's the other part?
What about part 3?
Well, let's show part 2 first. This is what you're working on. And she decided that she needed a project bag for her knit. So I actually had one that I'd made before, and I gave it to her. So she was very excited. Okay. So this is your...
Cup cozy.
And what's this part right here?
Wait.
Just be careful of the cord. And what's the part in the middle?
Buttonhole.
And that's in Barocco Vintage DK that I had left over from the crocheted blanket that I was working on for the baby. So you're liking that one too?
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get that done. We only have a couple more weeks before the end of school for the holidays, so she's going to be working away on that.
Guess what? On my event calendar, my wreath was popped up today.
Was it?
On number 9.
Cool.
My wreath. Now I only have my stocking left
Excellent.
on my thing.
So one of the traditions that we have started since T was little is to make ornaments. So each year we kind of decide what ornament we want to make, and then we make a lot of them. T has a list of who she wants to give them to, people that are special to her during that year, whether it be family or teachers, what have you, and we give them out. And usually we keep one to put on our tree so that we have the memory.
Or
right?
2.
Or 2.
We
Or
have
3.
Snowman. Oh, stop. Because sometimes we have extras, and we have 2 snowman jars because there was 2 extras.
Or sometimes we really like them and try and keep a lot of them.
But our Christmas tree will be filled with them.
That's true, but it will be filled with handmade love.
Oh, stop.
So the first one that we made, want to hold that up?
This is Rudolph.
Now
From when I was about 2 or 3 or 1, I guess.
Yeah, probably about 2, I think, when you really started to be able to do a craft. So just hold it closer a little bit. So it's just made out of popsicle sticks. We actually had colored popsicle sticks at the time.
And
So every reindeer was a different color, which was kind of cool.
And they're purple. And then we put gray glitter, and I think I can see a little bit of glue on that. And then there's some paint cleaners. It kind of looks like we just cut them and then we curled them. That one's a little bit doodly. And then we used a big red We used a big red pom-pom for his nose.
Very cute. And he's missing his eyes.
Yeah,
but you get the idea.
They kind of fell off because we couldn't stick them on the glue.
He's still cute.
Yeah. I like him more without the eyes
There
anyway.
you go. So the next year, we decided to do this craft.
And it's called... Can I just name it?
Go ahead.
It's called a jar with paint in it.
There you go. These are glass.
Stuck on my finger.
Don't drop this when it's glass. These are glass balls from Michael's.
Yeah. And then we put blue and pink paint inside it, and then we shake them up with the cap on. And then we put a little thing on it, hanger or something. Then we put a little pink ribbon around it. And then we put the ribbon on the hanger, and then we tied it up, and then it made the hanger so it can hang on the Christmas tree.
So these were her favorite colors at the time. Well, blue was her favorite color at the time, so this is why we kept this one.
I liked pink too.
Yeah, we did do other ones where they had more streaks through them, but we gave those ones all away. So that was a really cute idea. You can get these balls also in plastic, but she liked this shape the best, and it only came in a glass ball, so that's why
we had to get glass balls.
So the next year,
we painted little plasticine or whatever they're called.
Plaster,
little paint ornaments.
Keep behind the mic.
Oh, right. And this one, I don't know what it is.
Well, you liked glitter glue at the time too, so you kind of went crazy with glitter glue on them after you painted them. That's fun.
And then there's a little tiny reindeer that we also kept, and there's a stocking somewhere on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
And so we painted them, and we used Triple Thick from Michaels. It comes in a spray can. It's like a spray glaze, and it's super thick, and it makes everything shiny. So we added that to them before we put the ribbon on. So that was that. Now these ones are from school.
Yeah. I'm going
to hold this one up.
Why?
You talk about that one. I'll hold this one up.
Okay. I start this one first, and I forgot to add something about the beads in the last time. So at school, I made a little, you just took whatever color pipe cleaner. In this case, I chose blue because I liked blue. Blue a lot. And then you just make a little loop and twist it so the loop will stay in. Then you curve the pipe cleaner, and then you kind of do little knots at the end. And then you choose some colored beads because my teacher gave me some little beads, little jars of beads. And then we would fill the pipe cleaner, start putting them on, and then my teacher would do another one on the other side. On the part where after we're done putting them on. And then we had different color beads. So we went like little rainbow, just little three little hole beads, and they were just so cute. And you can just twist them around, just kind of like a little fidget. And you just hold it and you twist them around. It's kind of cute.
So this one is great for little kids too. Just threading beads on to a pipe cleaner, so it's great to get their manual dexterity going.
And we can make the shape for them.
Yeah,
they won't
you
know
can make
how.
it into any shape you wanted. You can make them letters. You can make it a J if you have somebody that has a J in their name. So this is the other one that she made last year, and it's.
And
you want to talk about how you made it?
Yeah, and so we did this all around in case we had it one way or another. So you just had a little brown paint. We stuck your thumb in it, and then you hold it, and then you put your thumb on a place, and then you go dab it around and around and around until it's all filled.
All the way around the ball.
Yeah, and then you take a black Sharpie and you put it up, and then you do it across like you're doing a tree, and do that twice.
So that makes the antlers.
And then do little dots for his eyes. And then you take a red Sharpie and you dot his nose, and then you take the black Sharpie again and print your name in 2016 or whatever.
That's a cute idea again. So it's little thumbprint reindeer, and it just goes all the way around the ball. So that would be a great keepsake as well.
Teacher thought of that.
Very nice. So the one that we did last year is our favorite so far.
Yeah. Well, actually, these are not. Wow. These are my second.
Okay.
Let's both hold them up.
Okay.
And these are just, hey, stop twisting. My little snowman jars. Just get little jars from
Keep going.
Michael's. Will that not be in there?
Nope.
And then you can have, I almost dropped that. You can take little white and you do it around 2 coats. Then you do black 2 coats. Then you do black dots, black dot, dot. Then you take the orange and do his nose, but the orange didn't quite work out.
So they were kind of hard to do because the jars, we couldn't find a smooth jar, so this is kind of beveled. So the face was kind of hard to do because we were using the back of a paintbrush to dab on the little dots of the face and then kind of paint the nose on. But I think they still turned out really cute. And again, I used triple thick all over them, even the lid. And we got Daddy to drill a hole in the top and then thread our ribbon through for a hanger.
We had little hoops on the side of it too, the ribbon. It was kind of cute. And then we printed the name and my name and put 2015 on the bottom of them.
Right, so we know what year we did them.
Wait, actually we didn't paint the bottom.
We decided to do this year. We kind of both agreed, even though we didn't know what each other wanted to do, but we chose the same thing, which was kind of cool.
And that's Mommy's first. We made little hats with the toilet holder for the rim, and then we just used leftover scraps. Take a little yarn, and then you make a hoop, and then you tie it all together. And you trim the pom-pom top, and then you can put some wrapping paper in the bottom. And this is my first, and the gray one's also mine.
So these are, if you cut a toilet roll holder, you can make about 5 of them from one toilet roll. So yeah, just scraps of yarn, toilet roll holder, and a piece of tissue paper on the inside to puff them up, and that's all it was. It didn't cost us any money. But we had a lot of fun choosing the colors and what leftover yarns we wanted to use for them.
Tell them about this one. These two, your
These
favorite.
two are hand spun that I had left over from my hat that I made last winter. The yarn is Emily Made hand spun, and I just love them. They're so cute.
Yeah.
We had fun with striping too. You can stripe the brim and then it makes the hat stripy.
And my very favorite one is the last one that I made all by myself. Oh,
keep going.
Not the last one. I showed that one.
Okay.
And the very last one that I like is, my favorite one that I did is just a little black rainbow one. Can I go up a little closer?
You can see it. Just keep turning it. So this is actually yarn that had been used to knit me a sweater when I was T's age. That we still had leftovers from my mom.
And it's all rainbow yarn. It's just black, as you can see, only the black probably. And then there's little dots of different colors, and then it turned out so cute. I love them.
And that's the one she's deciding to keep this year.
Yeah.
But we might have to keep a few or make a few more because I really like a lot of them.
Oh, stop.
So that's our new tradition, and we're having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
And we'll have to see what we come up with for next year.
I can't wait to make a donut out of my shirt.
So maybe we have inspired you to do some crafting with your kids and start a new tradition. And if you do, let us know about it because we would love to know what you're making. And I guess that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed that little segment of Kids Crafts and seeing what my daughter has been up to. I'm sure she'll be back in the future with other projects that she's been working on. And I hope you'd like to see what tradition we have kind of started to do during Christmas. Next up, let's talk about a little review. So when I went to Rhinebeck 2 years ago now with Michelle, something that I wanted to pick up was a Lolo bar. I have heard a lot of people talk about a Lolo bar, and I kind of wanted to try it. I'm not big on creams and products and all that jazz, but I had heard that this was super awesome for your hands. Now, here in Canada, and especially on the East Coast, we get very dry hands. It comes around this time of year, just before the cold hits. I get really, really dry hands, and you just bend your fingers and they crack and you're bleeding all over the place. So you really have to take care of them at this time of year. And it's hard because washing dishes several times a day and doing other kinds of things, they're used. So I got a Lolo bar and I decided I was just going to get one just to try it out because people rave about products all the time, but it's not necessarily always for something that would work for you. So this is the one I picked up. This is a 3-ounce Lolo bar, and it is the Honeydew Almond scent. So basically it comes in a little tin. There's a cute little vellum quote inside, and this one says, "If I stitch fast enough, does it count as aerobic exercise?" So it comes in a round cake. Now I've used this quite a bit. It was quite a bit thicker than that. Well, you can see the difference. And basically I just take it out and rub it around. It's like a bar of soap, but a little bit, I won't say greasier, but a little bit wetter. That's a thing. So I just rub it on and then I really smooth it in. It does look greasy when you first put it on, but you've really just got to rub it in and get it right into all your little marks. My husband says I have very old looking hands because I have a lot of crevices in them. So you want to just work it all in. But I find the smell is amazing and it's the best thing that I found. I don't like, creams don't work for me. One, they are wet. I don't like getting wet in the winter. I like to be warm, and when I put cream, especially on my legs in the winter, it just, I freeze and I don't like doing it. And for that reason, I kind of get all dry skin. But with this, even the Lolo bar, I take the bar out and just rub it all over my legs. It doesn't make me wet. It doesn't make me cold. And then I just rub my legs afterwards. It's perfect. So this is the best thing I have found so far that helps with my dry skin. The great thing about these, it says antioxidant and vitamin rich. This is all natural ingredients. Let me read to you. Coconut oil, beeswax, grapeseed oil, seed butter, olive oil, sweet almond, vitamin E, vitamin C, rosemary extract, and essential and fragrant oils. How could you get better than that? They come in a gazillion different smells. They have smaller ones. They have lip balm. They have all kinds of things. So check it out. It's barmaids.com. BAR/maids.com. I'll put the link at the bottom. Definitely check it out. I would definitely recommend trying some. And let me know what you think if you do. So the last thing I want to talk about is spread the love. So I'm going to be starting a new thread in the Ravelry group, which is CelticCastOnPodcast.com or .com. I'm so used to my website, which is the Ravelry group is Celtic Cast On Podcast group. I'm going to be starting a new thread. I've been kind of going through my stash and taking things out that I don't have a plan for, and I'm not sure when I'm going to use or I no longer love, but it's still great. I'm going to start a thread and I'm going to start posting things. And if you want it, it's yours. And I'm just going to pass on things and spread the love around a little bit. There's been a lot of getting your wishes granted on Instagram and spreading the love around there too. The funny thing is, I wanted to join in on that, so I said, sure, I'm going to knit somebody socks or a hat or a cowl, whichever you desire. And I don't know whether I wrote the post wrong and people didn't kind of get that I was doing it, because it was kind of someone else was doing it, and I said, yep, I'm going to jump on this wagon. Such and such is doing this. I think it was Sherlock Knits. I'm going to do it too. But I think maybe they just thought that I was kind of giving them a thumbs up that they're doing it, because nobody signed up. Well, only one. Emma signed up, but it was only after I whined to her that no one signed up. So this is kind of going to be my new spread the love. So that being said, if you have anything that you're no longer in love with, is still in great condition, and you want to pass it on, feel free to post it in this group. And I'm not sure if I'm kind of going to do a raffle type, like if more than one person wants it, or if it's going to be kind of first come, first serve. I haven't decided that yet, but I will post it in the group. So definitely, I would encourage you to spread the love, and I would encourage you to minimalize your stash and pass on the love to other people. That being said, if it is something that you have a lot of already, let someone who doesn't have it or maybe hasn't tried it before grab it. I don't want this to be all about getting more things. I want it to be a minimalist, spread the love with people who haven't tried these things before. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. I think that's all I have for this week. So that's it for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed the show. If there are any questions or comments, again, feel free to message me on Ravelry or Instagram, and let me know if I can help you out in any of your crafting pursuits. I guess until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.